started spotting two days ago, and it was similar to what they call implantation bleeding. It was pink, just a few dots, and nothing to worry about. And then yesterday morning I woke up with more blood and started to get concerned. So I messaged some of my friends, one who had experienced a miscarriage, one who had experienced hemorrhaging. But I was still pretty hopeful. And then a bit later in the morning, there was just more blood. Just like a full-on period with little flecks of tissue, and at least I think it's tissue, I don't know, but there was just like content in it. And so I spent most of yesterday, all day in bed with a little bit of lower back pain, just feeling really tired and bleeding, and obviously scared that something happened to the baby. And I've just been bleeding. And the midwife I was supposed to meet with next week I'm glad I reached out to her, and I had all my friends who knew start praying for us, and they've been so sweet. And my midwife has just been calling me and texting me and checking in on me. At first she was more hopeful, but as I have sent her more pictures, she's just preparing me in case it is a miscarriage. She got me an ultrasound for Monday. It's currently Friday, and I've been bleeding all day, and now my neck and back pain has gotten more intense, which my midwife said that things might get worse before they get better, but my body knows exactly what to do. And she's Christian, so she's just been praying for me and encouraging me in God's timing. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an update. Everyone's been so sweet, checking in and praying for us. We wanted to surprise our family, so nobody from our family knows, but I think I'm just trying to decide if I should wait till the ultrasound. Handsome's hair. If I should wait for the ultrasound for confirmation, or if I should tell them sooner. My new boss, I got a job. I don't even know if I've talked about this. She brought me dinner, flowers, and my other friend sent us money for dinner last night. So I would just say, if you're going through this, I would tell people, because I can't imagine how lonely I would feel. It just feels good to have people who care about you and support you, checking in on you and praying for you. And Kyle has been so sweet. He's been the best. And he stayed home from work yesterday and today to be with me. and now he's working on the farm to get hours in for us. But he is the best. We've just been leaning on each other. I've been spending most of my time in this bedroom in bed with a heating pad. It wasn't too bad earlier, but now my back and neck really hurt. But we just won't know for sure until the ultrasound on Monday. So I'm just trying to nourish my body, drink water, and rest as much as I can. I have waves of sadness, and I don't think I'll be able to fully grieve anything until we know for sure on Monday. But I am preparing my heart that it is a miscarriage because all the blood and symptoms are pointing towards that. Midwife just texted me and said that neck pain is curious. Do I have a fever? So I guess neck pain isn't as common, so I'm gonna go take my temperature, but I figured I would document this process. I looked up today was the first time I looked up some videos on YouTube, and I saw so many people in the comments just saying, everyone was just talking about their experiences and their miscarriages or their scares. And so I figured I would just document this in case I want to post it, and hopefully you will feel less alone. But I'm praying for you and your baby that it's okay. My midwife advised me, unless I had very intense cramping, which I haven't, she advised me not to go to the hospital because there's not much they can do, and a lot of times women have bad experiences with the staff just being a little inconsiderate or pressuring you to do things before they really know. And I've watched other women's videos saying that that was their experience, that doctors had told them they were having a miscarriage, or they were very insensitive in delivering news. And some people weren't even having miscarriages, like they ended up having their babies, but like 2 or 3 doctors said that they were having miscarriages. And so I haven't gone in, and I'm just gonna wait until my ultrasound on Monday, and my midwife is gonna meet me there, and she trusts these people and she knows that they're caring, and I trust her. So anyway, I'm gonna go take my temperature and see. Alright, it has been a few days. I went in for my ultrasound today, and I didn't really know this, but if you go in for an ultrasound, they are technically not allowed to tell you really anything. They can't diagnose anything, and so I thought we would have some idea at the ultrasound, but they have to actually send the results to the doctor. The doctor has to sign off if the doctor is not there to look at it himself. We kind of just went to like a imaging center, and so I had to wait till my doctor got sent the results. And since my midwife is a doctor, she was able to call me with everything, which was nice. And so she kind of explained that it was pretty inconclusive, and so at this time it's hard to tell. There's still something inside of my uterus, but it could just be leftover tissues. It could be something, could be a baby, but she said there is no ovulation, or no, there is no fetal pull, which apparently is something that is required in order for the baby to continue growing or for a pregnancy to continue. And so that was not detected, which usually they can see that at 6 weeks. However, I looked online and sometimes it doesn't show up until the 9-week ultrasound. And so I'm just confused. I thought we were going to get answers and closure today, but now I have to go in for a blood test. And so tomorrow I'm going to be taking a blood test to measure my HCG levels, which basically is the level of like what shows you, it's basically what a pregnancy test is measuring for. And so if it is a miscarriage, you'll take your HCG levels and they will start decreasing. When you're pregnant, they will start increasing. And so I'm going to take a blood test tomorrow, and then I will take one 2 days after. Wait, tomorrow's Tuesday, so I'll take one Tuesday and Thursday, and then she will review the results and see if my HCG levels are decreasing or if they're increasing. That would be a whole nother question mark, and I would probably have to go in for another ultrasound. But if they're decreasing, it is probably a sign that it was a miscarriage. And then from there, if there's still something inside of me, I have to either wait for it to pass naturally, or I can take a medicine, which I would want to research first. And also, I don't know if I would really feel comfortable until I know for sure. So it's all kind of up in the air right now. And even after these results, it's still kind of like a question mark. But today was a really long day, and I'm feeling like yesterday the bleeding stopped. So I only bled for 2 or 3 days. I think 3 days. Where other women I know bleed for, sometimes people bleed to like 5 to 8 days. And so I feel like the bleeding period was a little bit short for me, and she thinks, I mean, it could start again if this is tissue that needs to clear out still. It could start again, or it could be totally not a miscarriage, and it could be related to a cyst or a hemorrhage, which my other friend had. I think she had cysts or I don't know which one she had, but she had that all her first trimester, and she would have like, she would bleed for like 2 or 3 days, and it would look like similar to a miscarriage. And so I just don't know. All of a sudden though, I just have body aches again. All over my back right now is what I'm feeling. She said to look for other symptoms of pregnancy to see if I have like tender breasts or nausea, or if anything like that comes back. I didn't really have any of that before. I think I had tender breasts maybe for like a day or 2, but that has gone away. So obviously looking for those symptoms. My other friend who did have a miscarriage, she said she just knew. And I think after she bled for like 5 to 7 days, I think she said, and then she took a pregnancy test and it was negative, and that's how she knew her HCG levels have come down. But I've watched a few videos, and some women, their HCG levels take longer to come down, and so I guess you want it to be under 5 before you start trying again, or before you can start ovulating again. I think it has to go down that low. And so we will see what my levels are at later this week. I also want to order some like of those pregnancy test strips, because some women, like just take a lot of the pregnancy tests every day, and you can see the line getting less faint as things clear out of your body. So I don't know, I'm just in a hard place because it's like I want to remain hopeful, but also if it is a miscarriage, I really just want my body to heal and reset and be able to ovulate again so we can try to get pregnant in the near future. But right now we just don't know what's going on, and mentally I'm feeling better today, but it just changes. It just comes in waves. Like, it just will hit me and I'll feel really sad and I'll cry and then I'll feel fine. So I feel like that's really common. And one thing I really appreciate that my midwife did was she gave me a lot of things to focus on during the weekend, during the bleeding, to nourish my body and take care of my body. I feel like when I found out I was pregnant, I felt so much responsibility, so much purpose in my body and taking care of my body. And then the thought of losing the baby felt like it's just stripped away so much of that purpose. And so the fact that she was like just telling me things that I could continue to do to help myself and just help me through this, I feel like just gave me a little slice of purpose again, which was really important to me. And so something she recommended for me was to get a lot of vitamin C. Lots of vitamin C. What else? Garlic. If you can eat raw garlic or put garlic in capsules and take those a few times a day. Or I did garlic, chopped garlic and a tablespoon of honey. I haven't been doing that every day, but that's something she recommended as well. And so anyway, that is my update right now. I'm gonna just try to keep myself a little bit more busy. I've been resting so much, and I noticed today we did ultrasound, we went out to eat, and then we went and watched a movie, and then we went and grabbed some groceries, and I am so exhausted, so I feel like, and sore, so I definitely kind of overexerted myself today. But I am going to do a half day at work tomorrow. I think it's only like 3 hours that I'm going to work tomorrow, and then get my blood test. So I don't know. I'm praying for a miracle, praying that baby is still there. I would say I have 5% hope right now. I just don't want to get my hopes up too much in case, but just researching and understanding what's going on and what happens after a miscarriage and like what needs to balance out, like that has been helpful to me, because I was just so confused on what's happening or what could be happening and what happens after a miscarriage, and we still don't know what's going on or anything. So yeah, that is the update for today, and I will check in with you guys soon. Hello, it is the next day and I came here to get my blood test done. I'm getting my HCG levels tested, and kind of just want to give you an update because I've had kind of like a mindset shift with the whole situation. I feel like at the beginning of this journey, I've been really kind of preparing myself for grieving the loss of the baby and already starting to grieve and really just having little to no hope that a miracle could happen. And so I just feel like God really wants me to have faith during it all. And that's not saying he's, promising me that it'll be okay no matter what. It's not him promising that this will work out and it's not a miscarriage, but during this time it is very unknown, and so it really is my only opportunity to have faith that a miracle can happen. And so I just feel like I want to press into that and just take advantage of this opportunity to grow in my faith and to grow in prayer and believing for something greater than anything I could control. So I've just had that shift. I actually watched this one girl's YouTube video, and she had really low HCG levels, and then a couple days later they increased a crazy amount, and the doctors all said it was a miracle, and they were all praising God. And so I'm just praying for something like that to happen. But I feel like that kind of just convicted me that, you know, I should still have some kind of faith and hope no matter what the odds are right now. And so I've had that shift. So now I've like texted all of my super like prayer warriors, strong believers around me. It's hard because we're still trying to keep it a secret from our families in case there is a pregnancy and we can go surprise them. I'm getting to a point where we might not do that, and we might just share with them depending how long this process goes for. But for now, I've just texted a lot of my friends who knew or I know will be praying and interceding for us, and just asked them for like miracles, a miracle pregnancy, miracle HCG levels, because I was kind of in a point where I was giving up hope. And I want to read you guys a few things that my friends or my midwife has sent me, but I'm using my phone and that's where everything's on, so I will have to do that later, or maybe I can just insert them now if you guys are needing encouragement during the waiting, during the unknown, and just needing encouragement to keep hoping. I know I will be okay if it is, you know, a miscarriage, but during this time I at least want to pray that it isn't, and pray for miracles to happen. So anyway, my appointment got pushed back, so I'm just waiting to get in there. I think I'm just gonna grab some food, but wanted to share that little update with you guys. Another thing I did was I read back my report, and I went through the whole thing, and I Googled everything that they said. And so I learned a lot about what is going on, where I'm at, and the possibilities from this. And honestly, just educating myself about how it works, what they're saying, different types of miscarriages, different types of threatened miscarriages, or different things that can cause bleeding has been just really healing for me, just at least to know what's going on, to be able to understand the report they sent. And so I've learned a few things about my uterus. I've also learned that what they see in the scan is a gestational sac, so that is still there. The only thing is that there is no evidence of a baby inside the sac, so there is no fetal pull, there's no yolk sac or anything like that showing up. However, some people say, I was like five weeks and 5 days about when I went in. So some people do say that they didn't have anything show up around this time either, and it could take a couple more weeks for the baby to show up in there. So I'm holding on to that hope that, you know, it's just too early to tell. They also said my gestational sac is measuring 4.3 millimeters, which is not in like normal range for this time. I think right now I should be measuring either 5 to 6 or like even 5 to 8 millimeters, but mine is only 4.3, so that is a little bit off as well. However, it could be that I'm just earlier than I thought with my menstrual cycle, which I don't know. I'm pretty good about keeping track exactly in my app, but it could just be a very early pregnancy that's not showing up yet, and they would have a better idea in 2 weeks if I went in again for another ultrasound. Or it could have been a, what are they called? I'll put the name here. It's like an ovum or something, which basically means, I believe it's like there was either something wrong, like chromosomal with the egg, and it just never started developing, or I don't know. So there are some potentials, but I feel like it was just good for me to understand really what's happening inside of my body, what is still left in there. So they believe the gestational sac is still in there. So I'm holding on to that hope. I have stopped bleeding for the most part. I'm just getting like really light spotting now. And the blood now, it was like bright red, dark red over the weekend, and now it's more brown. So I'm gonna look into that as well. But what I did find interesting is most of the miscarriage videos I have watched, they had bleeding for upwards of 5 days, some like 5 to 8 days of bleeding, along with very severe cramping, which I did not have. My bleeding lasted, I think, 3 days, or like 2.5 days. And I did not have severe cramping. I did have a little bit of cramping one night, but more so it was just back pain that I was experiencing. And so I thought that was interesting and a little bit different from all of the other testimonies I've heard about other women's symptoms. But I don't know, for me personally, watching YouTube videos has been helpful for me. I know they say like, don't Google things, but like learning for me has been healing and made me feel better. So do what's right for you if you're going through this, but I'm just praying for you that you would receive God's peace throughout the situation and the unknown, and to just have the faith to at least pray for a miracle to happen in your body. So I'm gonna go get some food now, and I don't know if I'll have the results for this test today, but obviously they want to see if it's measuring, if it's doubling over the next 2 days. So I'll come in again. However, I've just been praying for a really high level today. I mean, the range is so broad at this point in time. My levels should be like, they could be like up to like 7,000. So I'm just praying for like a crazy number that would just show like evidence that something is growing, instead of it being like super low. I feel like that would be more of a negative sign. So that's what I'm praying for. Super crazy high miracle HCG levels in Jesus' name. It's a bit later in the day. My test results haven't come back yet. I was actually just gonna sit down and film like a life update video, probably just being a little bit vague, but oh my gosh, I just got pretty bad cramps, which, as you guys know, I just told you, was one of the major symptoms of miscarriage that I felt like I didn't really get. But wow, I have very sharp pains right now in like my upper stomach. It's just a roller coaster. I felt like it was such a good day. I was feeling positive and hopeful, and then this happens. So I don't know if I'm gonna film anymore. I think I'm just gonna have to. It's really bad. Oh, how random is that? I should read that book. All right, I'm gonna lay down for a little bit and see if these pass, but it's not a good sign. Deep breaths. If you guys are planning to get pregnant anytime soon, order a heating pad ASAP. I ordered mine before I even got pregnant, and I seriously use it like multiple times a day, especially with this. So I'm just gonna relax for a little bit and see if they pass. So my result was like less than 1.
So there's still endometrium lining, so it's almost like a period that didn't finish.
Okay, so that needs to come out.
I would do, you know what else I was thinking? Like the body would absorb it all. Like it might just cycle naturally into the next cycle, but it just depends how thorough you want to be, right? Like my mind is trained in school, so I always think of like what I'm taught. But then I also try and think back to like, you know, what do people do before medicine? It wouldn't have any adverse effects really other than crampy and stuff.
I was just reading that you like want your HCG to go down like very low in order to like start getting your cycle and your ovulation back.
Yeah, you're gonna get your cycle this very next cycle.
Okay.
I'd be so surprised if you didn't. This test
Mm-hmm.
tells us that your liver is. It's exactly what I was saying to you. Like, your body's really ready to get pregnant now already. Like, it's you've already cleared so much naturally. I rarely ever see this. Like, usually I just see people who have a whole lot of stagnation. But your body's super clear.
Yeah, so it's good.
It really is. It's efficient.
Yeah.
And another thing that makes me almost very sure of this diagnosis, you don't actually have a full yolk sac and ovum. You just have what is called a blighted ovum, which means that it wasn't the egg wasn't whole to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so there was never...
There was never the DNA to create a child yet.
Oh, wow.
I think that makes you heal a lot better knowing the scientific fact. Like, that's what the science did for us, to be able to look inside, be able to get the blood test. If there was, it also explains what's seen on ultrasound and why your bleed was so light. There's no actual fetal parts. There's not a placenta and a cord and a fetus. There's not, in that way, it never got that far.
Yeah.
Because it didn't have the DNA to create it. Which is helpful. It doesn't mean you don't. Remember, you have like 20,000 or 40,000 eggs.
Yeah.
What I think would be cool if I was you,
and
it's just, I think it's all God, right? But like, and I know I didn't have anything to do with it. But I've had 5 kids and I haven't had any miscarriages, but I also had this rule since day one of making them that we would intensely cleanse before we did it. And of course, cleanse can be prayer. I think that's true now. I didn't know that then. But like cleansing, because our environment's so toxic, and because I've eaten Pop-Tarts. You know what I mean? Like, because I know I'm not perfect, and we've eaten like junior bacon cheeseburgers for 99 cents. Like, we've definitely done wrong things. And so we've just decided, okay, if we're going to be intentional about this, we're going to clean ourselves up. So having a month of break from trying to conceive, meaning like you actually purposely don't have sex on the days you're fertile.
Yeah.
And then you're cleansing.
The levels are like, I was like, are the levels less than like 1,000? Like, what does the 1 mean? And she's like, no, it's literally less than 1, the number 1, which is crazy. So she said that's like, it's really good in the sense like that my body was able to get cleared out on its own. And she said with other people, there's still stuff in there, and it's just a longer process of trying to get everything out. And
how you feeling?
I'm feeling okay right now. Yeah. Good to like at least have an answer.
Yeah. The whole in the middle, inconclusive limbo place wasn't very fun.
Yeah. So at least now I know, and it's nice because I don't have to go in for more tests. It's like I was praying for like supernatural HCG levels and like wanting them really high, but in a way it's still an answered prayer because they're so low that she says she rarely sees them this low afterwards, and that's just because my body cleared out.
Well, out of a worst case scenario, this is probably the best of the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, at least I don't have to go in a bunch more and then be told that it's not there.
Yeah.
So. And she said it's good because it's my HCG is so low, it just means like my body's ready to be pregnant. Like it's preparing to be pregnant again. Because it just is like getting... I don't know if I can have sex yet. I should ask her that. I know I'm not supposed to put anything up there.
No, I was just kidding.
Probably
a couple of weeks. Or like she said, like a cycle or 2.
Yeah.